Hi everyone. So I make that just after 4 p.m. British summertime, so I think we'll get started. So welcome to our latest webinar, a product walkthrough of the new mid-power flood and bay luminaires. So back in April, we first launched our new mid-power flood range, and we thought it would be a great opportunity to now explore the product in more detail. So just to introduce myself, I'm Charlotte Loudon, the Senior Digital Marketing Executive at Raytec, and I will be running you through the main bulk of the webinar today. And I'll be joined by my colleagues David Peters and Andy Oliver for the Q&A session at the end. So please submit any questions you might have during the webinar in the questions section on your GoToWebinar control panel. And we will answer them at the end of the webinar. So just a quick note, all the slides and the recording will be made available after the webinar on our website. So like I said before, please submit any questions that you might have in your control panel and we will come to those at the end. So without further ado, we'll get started. So we'll start today by taking a look at what we will cover in today's webinar. As I mentioned earlier, today's webinar is all about Raytec's mid-power flood and bay products, and we will go into cover all the important elements of this product in more detail. We'll begin by looking at the main features and benefits of the product, as well as looking closely at the performance of the product and cost savings, and how these cost savings can benefit you as an end user. We will then take a look at the new updates to the existing flood range, as we've recently made some changes that will benefit our customers. Lastly, I'll take you through the key considerations you need to think about when specifying a flood or bay luminaire. And then we'll finish the webinar with a question and answer session. So the first question you might have is why we have developed the mid-power range. On the left-hand side of the screen, you can see our FL48 product. The FL24 and 48 range are strong, tried and tested luminaires with many PSU, optic and emergency options. However, they are not cost-effective against the modern flat panel floodlights. The high power flood, which you can see on the right-hand side of the screen in its higher lumen outputs are all excellent products. However, its size, weight and price does not lend itself well to a 7,500 to 15,000 lumen flood or bay application. So therefore, it was an opportunity to create a purpose-built, modern and cost-effective solution within the Raytec flood range. The mid-power flood, you can see that in that product in the middle of the screen there. So at the same time, we were able to upgrade our existing floodlights to create a comprehensive portfolio of floodlights with lumen output options from 2,250 to 25,000 lumens. We'll touch on these upgrades in more detail later on in the webinar. So as I said before, we now have a comprehensive floodlight range offering well-engineered, cost-effective solutions for every lumen requirement. So from the small BL24 floodlight through to our 25,000 lumen high power flood, we have an array of lumen options available. But what does this mean for the FL24 and FL48 range? So at this moment in time, these floodlights remain an important part in our portfolio, leading the range for emergency performance, as well as providing low voltage, extra low voltage, and DC variants. The long-term plan is to transfer the technology onto more cost-effective platforms wherever possible, but the products will remain an important part of our lineup in the immediate future. So now I'll take you through all the features and benefits of the new product. We have launched two product variants of the new mid-power flood range. First one is mid-power flood and the second is the mid-power bay. Both products are available with dedicated flood and bay bracketry, providing users with great flexibility and making them ideal for a wide range of applications. So we'll now look at the performance of the product. A big driver behind the project of creating the mid-power flood and bay range was to have a flood product that sits within the 5K and 15K power output bracket. As well as providing a flood product that sits within this power output range, we also wanted to make them efficient. The new mid-power flood range is fitted with an efficient driver, which means it has an efficacy of 125 lumens per watt on zone 1 and zone 2 variants. So this offers a product with a high efficiency. Another feature is the choice of optics available with the mid-power flood range. For the mid-power flood and mid-power bay, only secondary optics are used to minimize light loss compared to the FL flood product that can use up to 4 layers of optic to achieve the desired beam angles. Using secondary optics ensures light is targeted efficiently and there's no loss of light output on wider beam angle variants. So as you can see from the screen, Zone 1 variants offer 3 beam angles. So you've got 30 by 30, 60 by 60, 90 by 90, whereas Zone 2 and heavy industrial variants offer a choice of 5 beam angles. So you've got 10 by 10, 30 by 30, 60 by 60, 90 by 90, and lastly 120 by 15. So having this wide choice of beam patterns allows for large open areas to be effectively lit up. So expanding on the greater flexibility of the product due to its beam angles. So we'll use the 15K mid-power bay as an example. So let us take a closer look at the performance of the product. So in the diagram, you have 3 rooms, all of the same size, except that each room have different ceiling heights, decreasing from left to right. So for the room on the left-hand side, the tallest ceiling height, the mid-power luminaires are mounted at a height of 22 meters and using a 30 by 30 beam pattern. Whereas the middle room, the luminaires are mounted at a height of 60 meters and are using a 60 by 60 beam angle. And lastly, for the smallest ceiling height, the luminaires are mounted at 7 meters and are using a 90 by 90 beam angle. From the example above, you can see that the intensity of the light at floor level in each room is almost identical, despite being mounted at different heights. So overall, each room is generating an average lux of 300 lux. This is due to the beam angle variations that are available within the range. Also, as the ceiling height decreases, we're also decreasing the number of fittings that are being used, so overall this reduces costs. Because we are using an efficient secondary optic, we are not having to use more power when the light is being spread wider. So as specified earlier, mid-power provides the opportunity for great flexibility when it comes to specifying for applications due to the multiple beam angles available. So let us take a look at the cost savings that can be achieved with the new mid-power flood, comparing it against other floodlights in the Raytec range to show how the new luminaires have improved our offering. Let's take an application that requires 20 Zone 1 15K floodlights. Within the Raytec range, the end user has 3 lighting options around this output range to deliver equivalent results on the ground. First option is to use 20 of the mid-power flood 15K units. Second option is to use 20 of our high-power flood 15K units. And the last option is to use 20 of our FL48 floodlights. All options provide equivalent performance in terms of light output. However, as you can see in the table below, mid-power offers extreme cost savings compared to other units, not just with regards to total solution cost, but also efficacy and power consumption. As you can see below, mid-power flood offers a huge efficacy saving compared to high-power flood and FL48. Where power consumption is concerned, mid-power offers a reduced kilowatt consumption compared to high-power flood and FL48. If choosing mid-power flood, an energy saving of 33% can be saved compared to high-power flood, and a 14% saving compared to FL48. Lastly, the list unit price per fitting is a lot less for mid-power flood compared to both high-power flood and FL48, meaning there's a huge capital expenditure saving. Comparing mid-power flood to high-power flood, you could save 29% on the total solution cost choosing mid-power flood, and you would save a huge 50% choosing mid-power flood compared to FL48 for this installation example. So overall, mid-power flood offers significant energy and capital expenditure savings versus high-power flood and FL48 alternatives. So we're now going to touch on the robust housing of the product. So SPARTAN products have always had a focus on being highly durable and suitable for the most extreme environments, and the mid-power flood and bay is no exception. So constructed from marine grade aluminium, the luminaires have been designed robust and also resistant to chemical attack. Now let's take a closer look at the mid-power's unique modular design and why it could play a key role in the suitability of mid-power for your project. So mid-power is designed with maintenance in mind, featuring a unique modular design to allow quick and easy on-site servicing and maintenance. The power supply can be easily accessed through the hinged front panel, meaning parts can be changed quickly and easily. Ease of installation is a massive benefit of the new mid-power range. We've reduced the size and the weight of the product compared to existing flood products in the SPARTAN range, which makes ease of installation much easier. So for example, high power flood weighs 23.5 kilograms, whereas the mid-power flood weighs 13.2 kilograms, making it lighter and easier to install. Moving on now, I just want to take a quick look at the certifications and classifications of the mid-power range. Mid-power flood and bay luminaires have been certified to the very latest additions to the standards, and the fact that they've been certified to the latest additions has allowed us to obtain UKCA certification for our customers in the UK. If anybody would like to know more about the UK certification, we actually did a webinar on it earlier in the year, so this can be found on our website. So we're now going to look at the classifications. So SPARTAN mid-power flood and bay luminaires are classified to Zone 1 21 and Zone 2, 22 hazardous area environments. This means the variants have been certified to use in these type of environments. Let's now take a closer look at the new heavy industrial brand. With the launch of the mid-power range, we've also introduced Warrior. So Raytec's SPARTAN range, which you're all probably familiar with, is now exclusively for EX-rated hazardous area products, whereas Warrior is our new brand for our heavy industrial products. Warrior effectively replaces our existing SPARTAN industrial products. It will have the same code, so SPI, so that'll be unchanged like before. These products retain all the features and benefits of SPARTAN, but are designed for use in demanding safe area applications. So this brand has now been rolled out across all our heavy industrial products, and these can be viewed on our website. Now that we've been through the new features of the mid-power flood and bay products, we thought it would be a good opportunity to explore the complete Raytec flood range portfolio and update you with any new product updates within the range. So Raytec's flood range now offers luminaire options to suit a wide range of applications. The lumen output stretches from 2,250 lumens with the upgraded flood BL24 range to 25,000 lumens with the high power flood, with many luminaire and output options within the lumen range, including the new mid-power flood. We will explore the updates to the flood BL24 range and the FL24 range on the next slide. Having this array of lumen options across the range really does allow us to provide a floodlight solution for any application. So just a quick note, flood BL24 and flood FL24 and 48 both come with emergency variants. So within the new range updates, we thought we'd take the opportunity to let you know that we have now discontinued the high power flood and bay 10K and 15K versions. This is solely due to the fact that mid-power flood and bay variants offer the same output but at a more cost-effective and installation-effective solution. We're now going to focus on the upgrades to the BL24 flood. So on the BL24 flood, we have upgraded the LEDs to reduce power consumption by 40%, going from 34 watts to 20 watts on the standard variant and 37 watts to 23 watts on the emergency variants. This increases the efficacy from 72 lumens per watt to 125 lumens per watt on a Zone 1 product. This has given a huge improvement of 73%. So we're now going to take a look at the upgrades to the FL24 and for FL48 products. So we have updated the lumen output package to increase light output by 70%, and taking Zone 1 as an example, the FL24 did have a lumen output of 5,000 lumens, but now has been upgraded to 8,450 lumens. And for the FL48, the original lumen output was 10,000, but it now has been upgraded to 16,900 lumens. Still using Zone 1 as an example, efficacy has improved from 74 lumens per watt to 125 lumens per watt. This in turn gives us class-leading 3-hour emergency performance We now offer significantly higher lumen output on mains versus our competition, and at least match or exceed the competition on the 3-hour emergency. We can now replace the costly and heavy FL72 style triple fittings with a more efficient, lighter, easy to install double style FL48s without sacrificing any performance. So now let's look at the mid-power flood and give you a visual representation of how it measures up against other products within the flood range, new and old. So the diagram shows a common application of a tank farm. However, for each storage container, we've used a different product within the Raytec flood range. The first storage tank, bottom left, shows the old FL24 product before the updates that we mentioned on the previous slide, with a 50 by 50 beam angle. The storage container on the bottom right is the new updated version of the FL24 with also a 50 by 50 beam angle. The two back containers feature mid-power flood units. The one on the left features our 7.5K unit with a 60 by 60 beam angle, and the back right features our 15K unit with a 60 by 60 beam angle. All the products deliver a different outcome, and depending on what you want to achieve will determine which lighting option is correct for your application. As you can see, the new FL24 product and the mid-power flood 7.5K option gives off a similar light output. However, mid-power provides more light coverage with its wider beam angle and secondary optics. Now let's explore the emergency variants of the product. So let's start by looking at the new mid-power range. We do not yet have an emergency variant of the mid-power flood and bay luminaires, but they are in the development pipeline. So we're hopefully aiming to release these versions in Q2 of 2023. So the emergency versions will be available in all the variants, so Zone 1, Zone 2, and Industrial. However, in the meantime, our BL and FL products provide emergency options. We offer industry-leading emergency backup for a 3-hour duration, with the ability to offer up to 100% output for shorter durations. So now we've covered all the features and benefits of mid-power flood and bay, I thought it would be worthwhile taking a step back and looking at all the key considerations you should be taking into account when specifying any flood or bay product. So when assessing a luminaire, you should also drill down into the product specs. This will help to ensure you're specifying a luminaire which provides good results once installed and is also suitable for the environment where it is being installed. The spec you need will of course vary depending on each application, but as a general rule of thumb, you should be considering the performance of the product, look at the luminaire's lumen output and its efficiency. Does it stack up against other luminaires you might be comparing it against? Look at the optics. Is there a choice of multiple optics available that will allow you to tailor the light to your application? Does the luminaire use secondary optics so that light can be targeted efficiently? Really, you should take these 2 points into consideration together. You can have all the power in the world, but if you're not targeting the light in the right place, that power will be wasted. So ideally, you need to find a luminaire which fulfills both these requirements. And what we'd always recommend would be to carry out a lighting design so there's no surprises at point of installation. And also for durability, look at things such as materials the luminaire is constructed from, its IK and IP ratings, and also look at its temperature ranges. Ensure that the luminaire meets the demands of the environment where it's going to be installed. And if you're unsure, ask the manufacturer. Can they provide the supporting evidence to show you that the testing of the luminaire has been carried through? All of these questions will help you to purchase the perfect lighting solution for your application. Without looking at the finer specification details of the product, you could end up with a product that doesn't fit your needs, with loss of light, and it's potentially not appropriate for the environment that it's been installed in. So we're just going to touch on ease of maintenance. So one of the benefits of an LED luminaire is that it reduces the amount of maintenance interventions required. But even still, you shouldn't consider a LED luminaire being installed in a hazardous area environment to be maintenance free. The nature of the hazardous area means there will always be some routine maintenance required, and it should be an important consideration for any electrical product, but especially when the luminaire is being installed in extreme environments where access can be restricted. When specifying either a flood or bay luminaire, as a minimum, you should be asking yourself 3 key questions relating to how it is maintained. So, has the luminaire been designed with maintenance in mind? So, for an example, Raytec's SPARTAN and Warrior mid-power flood and bay luminaires feature a unique modular design, which allows spare parts to be replaced independently and maintenance to be carried out quickly and easily. But that's not necessarily the case for all flood and bay products. Some may be what we call as a sealed for life unit, where they're sealed or encapsulated as part of the manufacturing process, and opening one of these fittings up could invalidate its hazardous area certification. You should also consider whether the maintenance can be carried out on site, or does it need to be returned to the manufacturer for maintenance. If it does need to be returned, that could mean that you're left without light for a significant length of time, whereas in contrast, the ability to maintain the luminaire on site means light can be restored within minutes. And lastly, you need to check the terms and conditions of the warranty cover, not just the duration of the warranty, but also what components are covered and what processes must be followed if the unit or component becomes defective. So find a luminaire which answers these 3 questions positively, and you'll have a fitting which is easy to maintain and allows the maintenance to be carried out on site. This will prevent any significant downtime and should also significantly reduce the long-term ownership costs of the luminaire. As with any project, the initial capital outlay is important, but you should be also taking future costs into account. So ease and maintenance is important. At Raytec, we manufacture all our products with maintenance and installation in mind. Our products offer a unique modular design which allows components to be accessed quick and easily on site, giving the user peace of mind that there will be no significant downtime of the luminaire in the event of needing maintenance, as well as reducing long-term costs associated with the ownership of the luminaire. So that's the end of the webinar. I just want to say thank you to everyone who's taken the time to attend today. So we'll now move on to answering any of your questions you may have. So if you do have any questions, please just pop them in the question section of your control panel, and we'll get round to answering those. Just another quick note, I've attached the data sheets for mid-power flood to the handout section in your control panel, just in case anybody wants to download those and take them away with you. So I'd like to invite my colleagues, Andy Oliver, he's the Regional Sales Manager for the UK and Ireland, and David Peters, Raytec's Product Manager, onto the webinar to answer your questions.
Hi everybody.
Hi guys.
Afternoon all.
Let me just check to see if we've got any questions. Okay, so we do have a question here. So are the luminaires suitable for marine applications?
Do you want to field this one, Andy?
Yeah, happy to do that, David. So yes, is the short answer. Everything we do at Raytec is made from marine grade aluminium to LM86, and comes complete with stainless 316 grade fasteners. So absolutely designed for the marine environment. Majority of the products we've got already have ABS certification, and that certification process is currently underway for the mid-power, so we expect to have that shortly. So ABS provides that backup for ship-based applications. But yeah, the short answer, yes, absolutely suitable for marine and coastal environments.
Okay, brilliant. Thanks, Andy. Another question, is there a food safe variant?
Again, short answer, yes. So we offer food safe variants on the high power flood and high power bay, and we will be using the same methodology to offer a food safe variant of the mid power flood and mid power bay, and those will be getting added to the price list in due course.
Brilliant, thanks David. Just another question here, is there a DALI enabled version available?
So at this moment in time, the only SPARTAN product that is DALI compatible is the high power flood. The mid power flood, our luminaires are not DALI compatible at the moment because the power supplies currently used does not offer that feature. What we do have is a major revamp and a major upgrade of our power supplies for SPARTAN products currently in the works, and we are expecting to have DALI compatible SPARTAN fittings across the range by sort of end of Q2, start of Q3 next year.
Brilliant. Just one more question here, is there a C1D2 version?
Yeah, so good question again. At this moment in time, the mid power flood and mid power bay is not C1D2. We are putting it through certification, so it will be in the not too distant future. In the meantime, we are supporting the high power flood 10K and 15K, which were although they were made obsolete not so long ago, we are still able to support those for Class 1 Div 2 applications until the mid power flood is certified.
Brilliant. I think that might be it for questions.
No problem.
I think we'll just leave it there. We'll I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone who has attended today. I hope it was useful. We're going to hang on for a few more minutes just to make sure there's not any more questions that come in. But if not, then yes, a huge thank you to everyone, and I do hope it was helpful.
Thanks all.
Yep. Thank you everyone. Thanks Charlotte.